This is Paul Singh, the Market Speculator, with the trade report for Friday, November 25th, 2016. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We've got the day after Thanksgiving now. Don't expect too much volatility. As we can see here, the S&P is up about 0.2% pre-market. Not much really going on here. And if we look at pre-market movers, it's mostly just junk stocks here. Although Brazil is down 8%, so that's significant. And oil is down 1%, which is significant. We're looking to get back into oil after the oil trade we just took. So we'll keep an eye on oil today. If we get a good signal, we'll go in. Otherwise, we'll look to make a play in oil next week. Before we get into what's going on in the market, I'm going to provide a link to an article I wrote here on part-time trading. It's in the blog. Take a look at this. It kind of has the habits and routine that I used and still use for part-time trading or swing trading. And a lot of you guys have jobs and are trading around that. That's why you're members of the trade report. Take a look at this, and this will help you with that routine. I'll provide a link in the report today. All right, let's get to SPY here. Third straight day of all-time highs. Really small gain, only 0.05%, but nevertheless, it still did make an all-time high at 220.70. And if we look at IWM, we're continuing to see strength, continuing to see it beat SPY here at 0.6%, which again is good for the overall market, good for the type of stocks we trade. And our entry on Wednesday relates to that with biotech. LABU features a lot of the mid caps here and smaller cap stocks. Big move yesterday. We were looking for the entry after taking this trade where we got out at 49, pulled back all the way to 37 or 38 here, and then we got a show of strength at 44. This was the signal to get in here. So we're going to use a very loose stop here because there could be some back and forth here. That's why the position size was not too big. And we're going to play for a break of 50 this time. So last time we played it to that resistance level. This time we're going to play for a break at least 10 points for our target here at around 54, 55, and maybe even a break of that if we see enough strength. So we'll decide how we're going to play this later. Stop is going to be down here towards the bottom of the range, and I'll see exactly where I want to place it. So that was the new entry, and then we got out of FCX on the big pop here. Still could go further, but it was such a big move at extended levels that I decided to get out. Now if it pulls back, we'll get back in. GWPH, this one was a little frustrating, pulled back to 111. I had to get out at that point. It was at the bottom of our stop range, and then obviously it came back in here. We'll see which way this goes, and I could always get back in now if it breaks the 9. And then FAZ is right at the bottom of the stop range. Decide to loosen it a little bit, but if it starts to fall any further here, I'll have to get out of it. So we'll see how that one plays out. And Twilio has pulled back in here, still above our entry, still playing it exactly the same with our stops and our targets. Now, in terms of what I might be looking at today, it's a slow day, probably won't take any trades, but we are watching oil very closely. Look at USO consolidating here at the moving averages and now is ready to pull back. So if we get a good pullback entry, maybe a pullback to the gap here and a hold, I would take UCO. We can't trade the triple leverage right now because UWTI is going to be delisted on December 12th. So I'm going to stay away from UWTI, even though it has been tracking well still. So, but we'll play USO and maybe take a little bit of a bigger position size since it's only double leveraged. Biotech stock Aria putting a really nice pattern here. If it breaks, and it held the 9, so you could take it here. We're already in biotech, so I don't need to jump in here. But if it breaks 1430, I might look to get in. Another biotech ZLTQ, putting in a very similar pattern, and I'd want to play a break of the recent high there. REN energy stock. If energy continues to pull back, maybe we get a good pullback entry here. And why don't we take a look at ERX, the ETF, looking very strong. Outpacing oil right now. So we're looking to get into either ERX or REN, and we've also been watching OAS, all looking really strong. AXP, American Express Financial Services, looking good. Probably would need a little bit of a pullback here. Now, two of three big tech stocks here, and two of them are the FANG stocks. Netflix showing relative strength compared to some of the other big tech here. Had great earnings, and it's back up above its 9 now. So we're going to watch that very carefully. Maybe we get an entry in there. Facebook has been beaten down, but holding the 200-day moving average. So at the least, we'd get a good risk reward, and oftentimes they'll test the moving average above. So potential entry there, and Apple has also been showing relative strength. I'd probably like to wait to see if it can take out the 50, but it's shown enough strength that maybe we could even enter before that 50 break. And then two of the apparel stocks we added, Ralph Lauren looking really strong here above the 9, and GES, same thing, holding above, rebounding the 50-day moving average. Now, one of the strongest sectors that we've liked, steel, is extremely extended, and again made another big move on Wednesday, almost 3% here. I'm going to look for, now that it's moved from 20 to 33, I'm looking for a potential up move and then maybe a reversal candle. So it's too extended to enter the long side, even though we like it, but we might be able to get a quick short out of it. So I'm looking at X, I'm looking at AKS, and I'm looking at CLF, all very extended at this point. We've got a few other steels. MTL not quite as extended. But we'll look for a potential short here. I don't know if I'll take it, but if we get a really good reversal signal, we could look to enter there. And then finally, some of our defense stocks, LMT, GD, BA, all looking strong here. And we're looking for the high breaks. We've got a few other stocks here on the watch list that are not quite entries yet, but we're still keeping an eye on. So that's it for the trade report today. Maybe I take a shot at one trade, maybe not. Otherwise, I'll see you guys this weekend.